the Mojave Desert, New Vegas, Hoover Dam, and the surrounding wasteland that spans and yearns for miles on end. Several factions have tried to dominate and control this spiraling landscape and eliminate their foes in an endless state of war. War that is never changing and in a vicious cycle. With that said, this is where New Vegas can be played with a particularly hot-headed commanding figure. A leader of a criminal syndicate and gladiator combatant. One who is perhaps even more into Roman ambitions than even Kaiser himself would think. Yes, the next Overwatch character I decided to go for trying out after the long-range sniping campaign as the Widowmaker, I go for the Italian. With a first name that can be deduced to the Italian counterpart of the Latin word Martia, and can be roughly translated to dedicated to Mars, there is no doubt that playing the game as, gonna be looking how to say this name properly, so forgive me Italians and Romans and Latins. Marcia Battalotti, the Vendetta, is going to be, quite frankly, a glorious slaying time. I would attempt to make a character that barely resembles her. Not like an outdated engine is going to help me show the Given the fact she uses a giant freaking sword that would make any legionary watch with envy, it's no doubt her special stats will emphasize max strength and high agility, but also low endurance, which, while it's not essential for a melee build in New Vegas, Marcia herself has one of the lowest health pools in her game, so that's where the challenge playing her will be. The other stats are given middle-of-the-road numbers and isn't much to talk about. I mean, it's not like low endurance is gonna make me die quickly, right?
Sometimes when you give tests like this, you learn more than you was hoping for, and I reckon that ain't always the best thing.
Prego.
Her gladiator motif will of course make her attack skills, melee weapons, unarmed, and speech, while she'll have the traits heavy-handed for the most raw damage of her swings, and skilled given the talent she developed thanks to her father Antonio. Leaving the dog's house would lead me to use the courier stash's broad machete, and get my first level up for some intense training. But you know this weapon isn't even close to her Peloton Fang. No. To get a sword to even compare to that hard light beast, we have to rush into Lonesome Road and die many times before she kills one marked man with her prize, the Blade of the West. After leaving that treacherous place, not wanting to deal with one patriot's obsession over bulls and bears and accidentally firing a warhead, I keep this blade for the rest of the game and with it, control the Mojave under her iron will with it. As for factions she would be aligned with, well, there just so happens to be a faction that prides itself on attempting to be a Nova Roma of the wasteland, Kaiser's Legion. And given how pridefully Roman the Campuniesa is of her heritage and her Roman-level ambitions, of course we'll totally be doing a Legion playthrough. I'm sure they'll respect her and totally not find her disposable and make her feel like anything more than sheep than cattle. After witnessing the destruction of Nipton and being in awe about the Doghead's executions, I grab a Legion recruit's uniform and begin to spread the word of the Legion. Oh, and this man was running at her with ill intent, so...
You're no swordsman.
Now, to work with the Legion this early, I have to rush to Vegas, so I took the Black Mountain shortcut, which led me to the Repcon HQ, where I had her strike down all the bots there like they were metal toys.
View Tower of Bolse.
Breaking into the strip while slaying even more robots, I run up to the tops and every Securitron tries to blow me up and shoot me down. Benny graces me with his presence of loads of experience, as he then betrays Marcia, and conveniently, I leave the casino to see Doghead in disguise as he gives Vendetta the mark of Kaiser. Sounds like an honorable respect indeed. I wonder how long that's gonna last. So I went through Cottonwood Cove to get to the fort. Unfortunately, this is when it's dawned on Marcia that somehow These legionaries act like it's ancient Rome and claim that women are nothing more than cattle and sheep. I can't even find in the arena, the gladiator looking arena, that they would set up for matches. This will change soon. After accepting to do Kaiser's tasks, I level up to get the Super Slam perk, an essential perk to make this run a lot more bearable to do with the knockdown effect it brings to unarmed and melee weapons. And I also got enough unarmed skill by this point to get the Praetorian tactic from Lucius for more powered up unarmed attacks. This is also where I do the rare thing and do Legion-based quest lines. All of them. Which isn't much between Lucius's need for a howitzer firing mechanism and Volpe's need to check on a lady's leaking intel. I see they didn't really think much of the Legion in New Vegas. It's like they didn't have much time to make the game complete or something. As I go into the Lucky 38 bunker with the platinum chip in hand, I see Mr. House for the first time and how this place apparently has loads of unactivated Securitrons that could be mine to use. Of course, instead of destroying the base for Kaiser, I activate the robots as a precaution to her ascension.
The robot march is for us!
I then found an enslaved child who wants her teddy bear back from a Legion master and decided to fight over it with a pack of mongrels.
I think they'll probably end up killing you.
How vicious!
Good luck.
I'll make sure you have a front row seat.
Damn it! I thought they had you!
You cannot strike me down!
Take the bear! I can't believe I let some of my best dogs get killed over this stupid thing!
Expect nothing less.
Thank you!
I remain infallible!
They were so easy for her that when I eventually had her challenge Benny, she opted to take him down in a duel, not with a machete, but with just her fist, to give him a most embarrassing defeat. After that beatdown, Kaiser commands me to take down Mr. House, which was an easy slice down of robots and him too. I would also like to show a trick every time I enter the fort, where I drop the Blade of the West before they confiscate my stuff, and just like that, I can keep my blade whenever I'm inside the fort. Next Legion mission is to align the boomers, which was done through means of delivering 15 scrap metal, listening to their history lesson, appraising their resilience, and making the ants hear a war cry. I get a pressure cooker from the Fiend's shack to have Jack make a rebreather to perform the underwater retrieval of an entire bomber plane. And also, I found out Martina's double dealings with the NCR, and since if we're trying to make a better, more loyal Legion, she dies. Getting the firing mechanism repaired and how Martina was killed by Lucius and Volpes respectively, I told Kaiser the deed was done, and he sends me to forge an alliance with the White Gloves. Why is he looking ill? You know, this Legion, I don't think Marcia likes it. No, I'm beginning to think it's a bunch of bull feces. I also got the Volpes mission to infiltrate the NCR at Camp McCarran, and let's just say it ended in failure. But at least they died all the same. I also have the NCR mark me for death for invading their embassy and killing the ambassador. A couple more robot slayings later would then get me to earn the Piercing Strike perk, which will be immeasurably useful for negating armor in the process of my sword swings. As for aligning with the White Gloves, well, I proved to them that dress canes are better left as walking support for grandmas than actual weapons. making the cannibals lose their appetite, especially when their top hat ringleader and chef get the axe as well as their restaurant owner. I get a barren son back to his barren dad in good favoring at least. Kaiser didn't like the fact I ended the White Gloves, but apparently he is not excommunicating Vendetta just yet. Instead, he sends her on what sounds like a death wish. Eliminate the Brotherhood of Steel. You know, maybe the Legion needs a good direction, after all. So how do facing these steel tanks go? Well as any giant sword-slashing DPS character would against multiple tanks.
Colpirò 2 volte più forte! I'll tear them apart! Oh, I'll leave them in pieces! Get moving! You look better on the ground. I will show no mercy! My name is no empty threat. All who stand in my path shall fall! A fine kill. That's an improvement. Come close and face me, coward! Nessuno può fermare la Lupa! I am the Fury! Feel the onslaught! Know my conquest! My blade stands ready. The enemy has a turret! The enemy must taste defeat! The enemy! Destroy them!
This'll be
Cavolo! Damn it! Now back to the battle. I am without aid. Intolerable! Advance! We must take this! Nothing is beyond my reach. When the blood runs, I give chase. A wolf cannot fill its belly with accolades. Stand ready for Vendetta! Kneel before Vendetta! At my full strength! Revenge is my birthright! 3, 2, 1. My ambition will not rest. Slay! Se ti prendo. Ancora a bocca aperta, eh? Cutting words only scar thin skin. I stand alone against giants! Stay out, girl. I do not desire power. I deserve it. I will raise every one of you! There is nothing sweeter. A long-awaited end.
Seeing through a lot of resets and the bunker's unthinkable fall, I became an unstoppable force as Kaiser invites Messiah to a private matter regarding the fact that he is in fact dying and needs medical support. Tell me about it. I then went to buy loads of medical supplies, found a horrifying version of Victor and Goodsprings, repaired my armor and blade before I had to face Vault 34 and all its absolutely awful crap, and you know what? You know what? Maybe I should give Talon some slack. Because all these death-defying missions that are being done for the Legion just to be seen as a sheep to them no matter what I do for them is just deplorable. Yes, I said it. Deplorable. The Legion is wrong. The Legion is backwards. And you also know what? Maybe the Legion doesn't need Kaiser. Maybe the Legion should be reorganized with a new empire. But in order to go do that, we must usurp out the old. It is time for a reign of terror. It is time for a reign of Legion.
I don't understand. The machine was supposed to cure Kaisar. You did this. His blood is on your hands.
Ready yourselves for war! Witness my power!
You paid for that. Retribution!
Fatal aim! Fate largo! Cut down!
Had enough? Retribution!
Taste light's edge! You're too slow! This win will be ours! Stop them! Nothing is beyond my reach! I claim this space! You can't outrun the wolf! And so we have arrived at the seat of my power, cut to the very heart of them. I will not accept a loss. You're just in time. Face
Another
me!
kill to my name.
Your squad must be overdue for a demonstration. My plans go far beyond what my father could have ever achieved. Respect my command, and we'll have no quarrel. I burn with righteous fire! Addio. Be gone. Retribution will be mine! Now they owe me their life. There is no pit deeper than failure. Short a soldier. Come face me in the Colosseo, champion. Pathetic. Languish. Vale.
True to Kaiser.
Ave.
Here it is.
Salve. Greetings. Ciao. That looks fatal. The guilty are never spared. You put on a good show. Down where you belong. What a sorry excuse.
Like that?
Disgraceful.
Retribution.
Get out of my sight!
Retribution.
I am the executioner! Kneel before Vendetta! Step aside! Nessuno può superarmi! That honor is mine. I hope you've made your funeral arrangements. What a beautiful prize! A lethal cleave!
Retribution!
Impenetrable! You never stood a chance. You're beneath me. You're soft. Your end at last. Your life is forfeit!
There you are.
Victoria! Fine. Damnatio ad bestias it is. And so, my reign begins. It all belongs to me. I am the Empire.
So, the Legion has had its power vacuum, and Marcia can now begin consolidating the means to control the Mojave. We could just rush into the endgame storyline through the main quest, but Vendetta is not without knowing that one man, or rather, one woman, cannot single-handedly rule an empire. Therefore, she needs to find allies and crush any opposition or disloyal element, all in order to proclaim not a Rome built from bulls, but a Rome that aspires off the wolf that nurtured Romulus and Remus, the brothers that founded the central city of civilization. Currently, the New Vegas Strip hates Marcia like a villain. To make them more compliant, she'll find some entertaining acts for the tops, and would use Yes Man as a means to secure the robots under her fidelity. Robots that would serve under her fidelity. The Ometas would end up being subdued and crushed while escorting a couple's escape, like they always should, while I seek to make Freeside idolize her. The Kings would be an easy faction to sway and align with, while one faction seemed pretty eligible for her new Empire's allies, the Vangraffs. So I do some of their jobs like staying on guard duty and taking the life of a disgraced cowgirl Sharon Cassidy after tearing through the NCR. I then do the final Vangraff mission where they are sending a humongous shipment of guns, not to the Legion, but NCR?
You like that? I could use. Had enough? No! Murder!
Disloyal scumbags. In my search for allies, I find them off the town of Westside in an arena, the Thorn. Finally, a wasteland-level coliseum that I can have her compete in. And to make their ringleader, Red Lucy, see the value of Vendetta, I have her do all the tasks of finding the eggs for a variety of wasteland critins and abominations. I get the eggs in Vault 22 and keep its data for myself, get the Purifier perk at level 22, meet with the cons to begin proving to them that my Legion is better than Carl's Legion, go to the Quarry Junction to slay the Deathclaws there, and I should mention by this point, I have been crafting rushing waters to make Marseille's swaying speed faster for these sorts of tough encounters. Breaking Mama and Papa Deathclaw to get to Melissa, followed by slaying Salone's Populace. Oh, and you may have noticed I have Arcade as a companion at this point. To make a summary out of it, and yeah, I have him for support, and that's it. Because everyone likes a good support. I make Prim fall to my heel, Boulder City slam of its NCR garrison while saving the cons there, convince the cons to leave the Mojave in exchange for their support, crack down on the Raider gangs high on their own heads, do what the late Kaiser did, and join a medical clique for some philanthropy points, slay some of the toughest robots I fought to see a crashed plane, making my merciful companion notice, provide power from Helios 1 to Westside for my plans to make it a new central hub, and have some ghouls lift off to space. Black Mountain would become my mountain after slaying Super Mutant number 76, because, fun fact, she shares the same voice actor as the fallen hero, and freeing a handyman for an alternative site to repairing my armor and sword. I find one of the many ranger outposts to slay and butcher, as I decide to absolutely positively break the arms, legs, and head of an entire family of death claws on the promontory, while making Marcia high on enough simulants to break through one of the most difficult sections of the game. And as any gladiator would do, she would kill them all and reign supreme. I ransack Camp Guardian and dice the King of the Seas, become a terrifying presence after getting the Night Stalker eggs for Red Lucy. I see two guys act like a bunch of suspicious coyotes and kill them without any reason, though I feel like there is a very good reason. Begin to recruit some old government war veterans to ally with me at Hoover Dam, have the Vault 19 NCR criminals join up with the cons after having killed the fire geckos in their vault, and acted like a sneering imperialist upon killing a giant wasp like any good conquering Roman would. A teacup mine, Nelson, and Lost Hopes would endure for both Legion Bulls and NCR Bears before I begin to head to the headquarters of the NCR's most esteemed, quote, heroes, Camp Golf, and their rangers. Marcia did die a fair few times in this area, given the fact that every veteran there has weapons that reminds me of getting sniped and gutted by the enemy snipers of all sorts of too many games to put into my head, but they were all slain the same. Nothing in the Mojave at this point will be safe from a Vendetta's challenge. Raiding one ranger camp after another, I make sure that not even Hoover Dam was safe before the impending second battle by absolutely massacring their soldiers by the sword and feeling no remorse killing the engineers. Who knows? The Engies could be repairing generators one day, and then they come back to have a hive mind of sentries and turrets the next day. It will be so much beepin' fun! Wrapping things up at the Mojave were done by killing the biggest claws in the most treacherous cave and taking their eggs for Red Lucy to prove her how a true hunter fights. I align all the Enclave remnants to fight for me, while not having Arcade in the last bit of the quest line to lose out on him when I recruit him from the old Norman fort for the final battle, and head towards allying the last faction left for Lupa's Legion, the Powder Gangers. Yeah, the NCR criminals from, like, the beginning of the game. After making a healing power to bypass the gun requirement from Sunny, I go to doing all the deeds for enforcing Mayor Cobb's rule on Goodsprings by killing everyone except the merchant, which did make doing the Ghost Town gunfight quest end up like this.
It's about time.
They have weak points, as does every opponent.
I then go into the correctional facility, do everything the Powder Ganger leaders there want me to do, and slay even more NCR that tried to breach the prison with no success. Okay, with them likened to my side and proving that Marcius is indeed a heavyweight as the description describes one of such perk to be working out, it is time for the Battle of Hoover Dam and fight the last major obstacles towards controlling the Mojave and Vegas. Getting to the Legate's camp will result in me facing Lanius, a butcher of the East, a monster of the Legion's making, one that has been bred for war and terror, and not to mention how disgusting he is towards females after a Vendetta give him the biggest insult before the final duel.
Finalmente! Stavo aspettando. Colpirò 2 volte più forte! Prove you're more than just prey.
And who is this before me in the colors of the Legion? An envoy, dressed as an insult to all that carry out Kaisar's will. The West's treatment of bitches such as you is their weakness. But by my honor, I shall face you alone as you request. Woman of the West, you will learn your place in my tent, and again when you beg for release on the edge of my blade.
Don't test my fangs. You'll end up bloody.
Die, coward.
Veni, vidi, vici. Vengeance is mine! Enough lying around! Perfecto! Sunken like a stone. A wound even you cannot mend. I'll show you suffering! Fix yourself! I will not accept a loss. You never know which fight will be your last. I cannot be stopped! Sono inarrestabile! Pathetic! Come close and face me, coward! Here, I am the champion!
Another kill to my...
I will raise you! Veni, vidi, vici. Face your punishment. Your end at last. You're soft. Fight back! Ah! Ha! 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 Arbalest never could compete. Not worth dirtying my blade. You never stood a chance. You're a relic.
No, you're here in the Legate's camp first.
Do you know what you're doing? Making a nation like you think you're doing ain't like chowing down on a pile of fancy lab snack cakes.
Think you got the guts to carve out a frontier?
Yes,
Hell.
so be it. Stand ready for Vendetta! I am the Empire. Know your place.
Finally! Not only can we confirm that Fallout New Vegas can be beaten as Vendetta, but a wasteland, where the Mojave has broken the Bull and their legionaries, the Bear and their quote heroes, and with local collaborations and a giant robot army to my name, there is no doubt to say the Mojave is now under a wolf's banner, a legion of Lupas, a new empire. Royal out.